Hi, Ben Laws here, benlaws.uk. I haven't really rehearsed this video or anything, so I'm just going to kind of roll with it. I'm here at my office doing some work and what have you, and some trading, and I've learned a couple of things today. Last week, I think I made some commentary on my blog about a pound yen trade that I didn't handle so well. I got in too often, kind of predicted a few highs, well, thought I'd captured some highs and went in a bit early. I moved my profit targets all over the place, and really, compared to all of the other, say, 24, 25 trades in the last 3 weeks, this one I'd completely, well, not completely mismanaged, but it was perhaps the most uncomfortable and stressful out of all of them. And I kind of noticed this occurs around, well, when I trade anything / yen. I don't know what it is, but I seem to have some inbuilt psychological fear of the yen, and I wonder if any of you have experienced similar things. Maybe you're domiciled in Asia, so you're used to trading the yen and the Aussie dollar, but every time you trade the euro or something, you get scared of it. I don't know. But I've never had a particularly bad experience with the yen. But then again, to say that, I've never had a particularly good experience with the yen. And I'm listening to myself, well, I was listening to myself kind of evaluate all this over the weekend, and it's quite clear to me that, well, the yen is just another currency pair. Okay, the numbers are different. The spread is different, a little bit higher. But it is just typically another pair. So what you need to do is get your head around those numbers and around those differences and kind of bring some sort of balance. And next time you trade the yen, kind of make a promise to yourself not to get wound up, not to get sort of fearful by the slightly bigger movements or the kind of differences in sort of quiet or low volatility sort of periods, as opposed to other currency pairs I've been trading. And it just so happened that Sunday just gone, markets opened overnight. I was looking at about 2 or 3 sort of setups, picked at the pound yen, and instantly I was, oh no, not the yen again. Here I am. Why did I pick this one? And of course, over the coming periods, as I'll show you on the actual charts in a moment, it kind of progressively sort of moved further away from where I'd started. And all these sort of things were going through my mind a lot about, move profit target, do this, do this, do this, do that. So I decided instead I was actually going to, even if it all went wrong, sort of hit my stops, etc., etc. I'm going to trade this methodically, as I would normally do, and I'm going to get over my fear of the yen. So let me just run you through the trade as it stands. Sorry, losing my train of thought. Here's the chart. Let me just open this up a little bit so we can see a bit more. This green line here is the kind of, well, the start of the Sunday / Monday opening, where you can actually see Sunday here, and then a jump up to the open. As we kind of opened, had a missed pivot. This was actually touched, this one. Is it missed or is it unmissed? Wasn't sure, but anyway, I identified a missed pivot here. This one actually, at the time of taking the first trade, hadn't materialized, so all I could see was, let me get a drawing. All I could see at the time was this one and a bit of divergence up here. I drew a couple of sort of trend lines, maybe not the most perfect, but they're lines anyway, and decided that in this box area I'm going to sort of take my first counter trend trade, make it a short and sweet one, and try and target this pivot or a little bit before it. If I'd now move to the mouse and just show trade one, because it was early hours of a Monday morning, recognizing perhaps I'm a little bit keen to come back off my trading holiday, etc., and kind of get cracking and make some money. I decided, well, I'm going to ignore my sort of account balance and lot size chart, and I'm actually going to trade significantly less. and I put it in a sell trade at 172.846 for 0.03 lots. This was my first target, 172.726, just slightly above this pivot here. So it went along. On this chart, it shows that it kind of hit, but allowing for the spread, it didn't. So I didn't come out of that trade at that point. Instead, it kind of carried along, moved against me. And I'll move the chart along. Ignore the red things because they're kind of sort of markers are not indicative of the trades. The next trade actually appeared here. Why did it appear here? Well, I set myself yet another rule, and that rule was if I'm going to go in on a re-entry, if I'm going to sort of kind of use the sort of the rollover type kind of thing, or add an additional trade in there, I'm going to sort of look for divergence, and I'm also going to sort of wait for around 5 times the spread, if at all possible. So my two rules on re-entry are 5 times spread and or divergence. The and or bit allows me to just kind of make a trade if I feel like it, i.e. it's gone pretty high, 5 times the spread. That's quite a bit of a jump, and I can get in again. So I got in here, trade 2, 173087, doubled up my lot sizes. So I'm still trading a small lot size, 0.06. My second target was this green, pardon me, this green 4-hour pivot here, target of 172972. So that was the target then for both trades. It quickly moved up again and printed a bit of divergence. Perhaps I should, in retrospect, have waited for that instead of taking trade 2, but I didn't. So there you go. Quite up high here. Comes trade 3 at 173330. And I've moved my target to this pivot, which is just a little bit above the 8-hourly pivot. Then whoosh, 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 comes all the way down and doesn't actually get far enough. Again, now this happened to me last week on the Thursday/Friday with the pound yen, and I was not a mess, but I wasn't very happy about it, and I kind of let it affect me. But this time I saw it. It didn't quite hit. I wasn't close enough to catch the trade. I may have well have exited at that point in time, given the minute difference needed to kind of complete the trade. But hey, I didn't. Going along, I'm then not in any new trades for some period of time. I mean, that is, that's 8 o'clock at night, if I'm right. Or was it 8 o'clock in the morning? I'm not sure on the time settings, but it was there. A number of hours pass, and I get some sleep through this quiet time. Open this up. Just as I'm sort of waking up, or not waking up, or in the middle of my sleep, I woke up to catch this third set of divergence. I took a trade on it. I didn't draw a trend line, but did in my head kind of thing. But if you were to sort of draw one-ish, I mean, that would be semi-acceptable, or put that back, or that would be semi-acceptable, and around here, I've done my trade 4, was the selling position. So I sold. I moved my target again to 173340, just slightly higher than this pivot, and kind of quite happy. The blue thing here that I have is a kind of sort of break even on all of my trades. It gives me a break even position. So once it kind of hits around this blue line, I can stress a little bit less than I normally would do. And that's kind of how it went. Then I decided to do something different. I've been talking with a few people who have asked me, do you add to your winning positions? And I've always said, hell no, that is just very scary. A lot of people advocate adding to their winning positions and adding quite aggressively. and I can kind of see the structure and the point in doing that, but I've never really been able to entirely convince myself to do it. So having gone through this process, having gone from trade 1 to trade 4, being quite a difference in movement and kind of moving against and kind of having to manage and add further trades, smaller lot sizes to start off with, progressively getting bigger, still not using a drawdown to equal or above my kind of limit. I'm happily managing this trade, and okay, maybe not entirely perfectly, entirely comfortable, but certainly 95% better than the last time I traded this pair, or anything to do with the yen. So I'm happy. So I thought I'd tell you what I'm going to do now. Now it's hit the margin of safety. It's come back up. It's hit another pivot, and then it's on its kind of way down. And as it did that, I then made another trade. But what I did is I made it smaller than the one previous to it. I didn't want to make it any bigger. Could have done, but I chose not to. I chose to find some sort of middle ground and just go for it. So I did. And as you can see, comes down here, almost hits the target. The spread not too big and doesn't quite get there. Comes back up, messes around a little bit, comes back down again, and la 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 la, and eventually here have a happy ending with this big smiley face there. So kind of happy with that. So I actually learned sort of two things today. One, the yen is not as scary as I thought it would be. It's just another currency pair. The numbers are different, obviously. Two, I instilled another sort of rule in looking at sort of 5 times spread for re-entry. I've lost count of the number of times historically and presently where sometimes I've kind of made a re-entry, and as an example, if I had entered sort of there, I would have entered up there again, and then maybe there'd be an entry down here, and there'd just be entries all over the place, perhaps a little bit too close together. And where are we? Yeah, okay, that's all fine. So I learned how to deal with that. I also learned, well, okay, fine. There are circumstances where it is appropriate, perhaps, to add to your winning positions. I mean, by the time the currency, well, the sum of the trades were moving in this direction and around here, I was in a profit situation anyway, as this one was covering the entirety almost of the losses down here. So I had enough winning in here to justify this trade. So I'm kind of sort of getting the methodology of adding to winning positions, and ultimately down here was a very happy result. Had it moved against me, I probably would have been entirely happy with that. Maybe less happy than obviously it coming down to the bottom here, but I would have been comfortable with that. And if it moved up to say another 5 times spread or printed some more divergence, I would have been happy to go in again, and maybe start closing some of the earlier trades as and when they approach my sort of loss threshold, sort of tolerance levels. So that is that really. There was one more thing I wanted to add, but I can't think of it now, so maybe I'll come back to it later. Apologies, this has been a somewhat unrehearsed, and I'm umming and ahhing and whatever, but I thought, well, I'll just get it out there. That was it. The total result, I mean, it wasn't the most stonking win ever, but compared to the risk that was taken on, it's a comfortable profit. It was 2.96% of my account balance, which for me equates to 72 English pounds, which is about $119 or 90 euros. It's happy. I'm happy with that, and that's the kind of numbers I trade. I'm in no rush to trade bigger numbers. I'm happy to trade smaller numbers than that, as I kind of sort of get into things, especially getting over sort of like little hurdles with yen. If you have a fear of a currency pair, the next time you take a trade setup, I'd say take it and just kind of write down what it is you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and kind of don't use that as your kind of sort of technical rule list, because we all do that. We all write, okay, well, if I see this, I'm going to do that, and if that happens, I'm going to do that. That's a very technical rule list. Instead, try and create that list more as an emotional list, and perhaps say, after, in my case, what I did was every 5 times spread, I will consider a re-entry, and I will consider that re-entry calmly, and I will not get emotional about it. Just by adding those, it sounds silly, simple things at the end of of those sentences, kind of controls your emotional behaviour as well as your technical behaviour. So maybe give that a go. Anyway, I've probably gone on for way too long. Thank you for watching, and send me any messages and stuff. And if anyone is a little bit fearful of any particular currency pair or currency, or pound or yen or whatever, let me know, and see if we can discuss it, and see if we can kind of help you get around it somehow.